Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. That means the peace of God be with you. And usually the answer is Walaikum Assalam, and with you be the peace of God. That is a greeting that every Muslim should give to other Muslims, and actually also to our brothers and sisters in humanity. And perhaps if you read in your Bible, in the Gospels, you will read that that's how Jesus, the son of Mary, used to greet other people. This slide means that I need to do a disclaimer first before we continue, because I admit I don't like surprises, so I don't like to surprise other people. I am a lawyer by training. I come from a family of law enforcement. I am the youngest of 4 and the only female. My brothers, let me rephrase that. In my family, nuclear and extended, we have Korea War vets, Vietnam vets, DEA agents, 2 FBI agents, 1 that I'm not sure, I suspect he may be with the CIA. I'm going to find out anytime soon. Why do I say this? Because if you want to pick a fight with me, you may want to think twice.
You also need to know that Farhanahz's father is an Episcopalian. So, take all the fights you want.
Oh, well, you know what? You can do it. You're not going to win. But you can do it. This is usually what you see at an Islamic wedding. The tradition, it's not religious, but it's tradition for the female to get what we call henna tattoos. Those are temporary tattoos, and actually it's not religiously mandated, but we Muslims love to party. So we take any opportunity we can. And for example, like for Christians, Jewish, and ladies of other faith, when they are getting married, they have a bridal shower. That's our bridal shower. Islam is a faith that is based on 5 principles. The oneness of God, that we call Tawheed, the prayers, that we call Salat, charity, that we call Zakat, the fast of Ramadan, which is called Som, and the pilgrimage to Makkah, which is called Hajj. Okay. The oneness of God. This is the first and most important belief for each and every Muslim. We believe that there is just one God, that is the God that created everything and everybody, that should not be, that nothing should be placed at the same level, that our love for God should be above everything and everyone else. And accepting the oneness of God also means that we accept God's command. Because if we believe in God as the superior being that created everything and everybody and has control over everything, then we must obey His rules. I'm sorry, exactly how long do I have for the presentation?
About 11 o'clock.
Okay, good, because yeah, I'm Hispanic, and when we take the guitar, you know, we just keep going. We're called to pray 5 times a day. Those 5 prayers are mandatory, which means you cannot choose to do them or not do them. You must do them. The 5 prayers are the morning prayer, noon, afternoon, evening, and night. The night one is, let's say, the one that closes the day for us. And even though now we use clocks and calculations and everything to know at what time we should pray, It's based on the movement of the sun and the moon. We have a calendar of our own that we use for religious purposes only, because I'm pretty sure that if I tell you I'll see you on the 3rd of Shawwal, you're not going to show up. You don't know when that is. There's also 3 other prayers that are mandatory. The 2 prayers of holidays and the funeral prayer. But the funeral prayer is mandatory for any Muslim that is at the mosque, or masjid, we call it, when the body is brought in. We pray for the person for God to give peace to the soul of the person, and also to the family, because it's a very difficult moment. Zakat, charity. Have you ever heard the saying, charity starts at home? Yes. That comes from us. And in this case, home is you. Everything you do that is good and of benefit to yourself and to others is considered charity. When you sleep, if you're sleepy, when you rest, if you're tired, when you drink water or whatever, if you're thirsty, when you eat, if you're hungry, it's considered charity. Then the next level of charity is for the family. Everything you do good and of benefit for your family, it's considered charity. And I know it could be a little bit baffling, because it's very different of the idea of charity we normally have. Actually, for Muslims, charity is not just giving money or donating something. The smile that you give to somebody is an act of charity, even if the person is a stranger. Then you will notice that opposite to what logic will tell us, the next level after family is not friends, it's the neighbors. Neighbors are very important in Islam. There is a hadith. A hadith are sayings and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad that have been preserved, and we use them as material to study and to mold our behavior after. And the story goes, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he got home one day and told his wife, I come from talking with the archangel Gabriel. You know? Gabriel, yeah. And he taught me about neighbors. And he made so much emphasis in the importance of neighbors that I thought he was going to tell me that I have to put them in my will. So imagine how important it is. He also said in another occasion that the person whose neighbor is afraid of them is not a believer. Not even, is not a good Muslim, is not a believer. Our neighbors should feel safe with us and from us. And I understand, parenthesis here, that in this day and age, that may look a little bit iffy, but that's the rule. We all have free will, and we can choose to follow it or not follow it, and then we will have the consequences at the end, but that's the rule. Then, of course, charity goes to friends, acquaintances, and even strangers. Have you ever written a check or donating money or giving something for, let's say, a town in Africa or Latin America or somewhere else? That's charity to strangers, and that also counts. Psalm, the fast of Ramadan. Ramadan is the most important month of the Islamic calendar for us, because it's the month where the revelation of the Quran started. We also believe that it's the month where the revelation of the Torah of Moses, the scrolls of Abraham, the gospel of Jesus, the Son of Mary, were revealed. Oh, and the Psalms of David. The revelation started also on a month of Ramadan. We fast those 30 days, not 24/7. There's no one who can support that. But we fast from, when in the morning when there is a little ribbon of light appearing in the horizon, that's when we start fasting, until that same ribbon shows up after the sun goes down. How we fast? We don't eat, we don't drink anything, not even water, not even chewing gum or medications. Now, with that comes the caveat that, of course, people who are sick and have a disease that will be aggravated by not taking their medications or by not eating or drinking should not fast. That's one of the categories. The other categories are women on those days of the month, women who are pregnant, women who are breastfeeding, people from around 75, 80 years old, if their health has been excellent. To Mecca. That is the dream of each and every Muslim, to be able to go to Mecca. Actually, we have the Hajjis, we call them the pilgrims, coming back now from Hajj. The top day was September 24th. This is a duty that is incumbent upon every Muslim with certain exceptions. And there's a list of rules that must be followed in order to perform it correctly. First, you cannot go if you have to pay for things with credit card. You cannot ask for a loan either. You have to have the money that you can pay with no other, let's say, with no other level of your economical life having issues. You can live if you have debts. So remember to pay me back the $100 that I loaned you if you are trying to go for Hajj. The only two debts that do not fall in that category are a mortgage and a car note. Why? Because if something happens and you're not able to continue paying, they can be repossessed. But any other type of loans, including credit card loans, have to be cleared before you can go. Also, you have to be in very good health. I personally will say excellent health, because that's like a marathon for 7-10 days. There are Muslims who take their kids with them. I personally don't think it may be a good idea, because a kid has a very short attention span and they can get tired faster than an adult. So it may not be a good idea. Before anybody asks, no, I have not performed Hajj. Actually, around 15 years ago, my husband and I were ready to go. We had everything down to the visas and everything, and I was feeling sick, but I didn't say anything because I wanted to go. But it got really bad. I had to go to the doctor, and in effect, I was not able to do it for two reasons. The two reasons are 14 years old now. They are twins, and their names are Jafar and Sahih. Yeah. And I have to apologize because from the top of my head I can't remember, but there is a verse on the Psalms that talks about pilgrims going to Mecca, which is the former name of Mecca. Then we have what we call beside the pillars, we have the main articles of faith: the oneness of God, the Rasul and the believing Rasul and Nabis, the messengers and prophets, the Wahis, which are the revelations, the Malaika, which are the angels, Al-Hashr, which is the day of judgment, and Al-Qadar, not Al-Qaeda, Al-Qadar, God, timeless knowledge. Actually, I'm going to jump on this because we talked about this one previously. Could you please go to the next? The prophets and the messengers, the Nabi and Rasul. I think if you take a good read at it, you will find some names that you recognize. We are told in Islam that God sent approximately 25,000 messengers, prophets, because he sent prophets to every clan, every tribe, every nation, every group of people, and the last one was Muhammad, which is the prophet that was sent to humankind. For Muslims, and that may be the main point of dissension between Muslims and Christians, is to believe in Jesus, the Son of Mary. And by the way, that is the name. We're told that it was his name, Jesus, the Son of Mary. In Arabic, it's Isa ibn Maryam. We believe that Jesus was a prophet, and actually a very unique prophet, because with him happened a few things that didn't happen with any other prophet. For example, he was born of the word of God. We call him the Verb. God said, be, and he was. I'm going the long way around to tell you that we believe that he was born from a virgin. And Mary was a virgin. There was no male interaction there. He had the ability, God gave him the ability to raise people from the dead, to cure some people, and to cast demons. Of all the prophets, and these are the ones that are mentioned in the Quran, the rest, I personally believe that are not mentioned because there's no benefit for us to know their names. We don't do anything with that. But of all the 25,000 prophets, he's the only one that has not died. We believe he was taken to heaven, and we're waiting for his return. When he returns, there will be an event where he will have to battle against, I don't know if I should call it a being, or a thing, or a person. I don't even think it's a person, but we call him the Dajjal. After that battle, Isa, the son of Mary, will be victorious, and get ready, because then the end of the world will come. The Dajjal, as we call him, is what you guys may know as the Antichrist. Now, one thing, prophets and messengers, what are the difference? All the messengers were prophets, but not all the prophets were messengers. Again, what's the difference? Prophets were those people, male or female, that God sent to all these different groups of people to call them back to the path of God. Messengers are the prophets that receive special revelations to do that work. And there are also 5 prophets that are called the special 5, which, as you notice, are the ones with their names in yellow. Noah, Moses, Abraham, Jesus, the son of Mary, and Muhammad is called, among many things, the seal of the prophets. What that means, that he closed the prophetic book. No more prophets after them. That's why we have a disagreement, I'm going to call it politely, with the Ahmadiyya Muslims, because they believe in a prophet that came around 100 years ago. And some of us, it doesn't matter which one, but some of us Muslims do not accept the Ahmadiyya as real Muslims, because if God tells us that Muhammad was the last one, then if you don't believe that, that puts you on a disadvantage, that puts you on the out. Back to Jesus, the son of Mary, there is something also that I should let you know. Of all the prophets that were sent, he's the only one that had somebody come before him to prepare the path for his coming, and that was John the Baptist. We call him Yahya. Before I finish with the prophets, there are some scholars, Islamic scholars, that sustain that Mary, the Virgin Mary, Maryam, was a prophet. I don't really know, but I don't think that makes a difference either way, because she was an amazing woman, an amazing person, to the point where if you get a Quran, chapter 19 is called Maryam, Mary. She has her own chapter that tells her story. Now, you cannot be a Muslim and not accept that there were previous revelations. With regards to the Gospel of Jesus, the son of Mary, I should clarify that that Gospel, the Injil, is not any of the 4 Gospels you find in the New Testament, in the Bible. This is a Gospel that was revealed to him. The 4 Gospels in the New Testament were written about him, which is a completely different thing. The Quran did not come to abolish the other revelations. It came to support them. Any Muslim that believes in the superiority of the Quran over other revelations is wrong. It's wrong. The Quran was revealed in Arabic, was revealed over a period of 32 years, and some Westerners say that Muhammad came up with it, but no, it's just not possible. Muhammad was a person with no education, an amazing human being, but he had no education. Didn't know how to write, didn't know how to read. And an amazing thing, he was able to repeat from memory each and every word exactly the same way during the 32 years that the revelation lasted until the day he died. I cannot remember what I had for breakfast on Sunday morning last week, so I think that is a lot. We believe that the Torah of Moses was specially revealed for a group of people that we call Banu Israel, the children of Israel. If we can please, some napkin. And next, Malaika, angels. We believe in angels, but the knowledge we have or we are given from the angels differ a little bit with what Christians or Jews believe about the angels. I'm not saying we're right, you're wrong, I'm just presenting it. And by the way, I should have said this at the beginning. If anything I say offends you, I apologize from the get-go. It's not said with the intention of offending anybody. So, angels are beings created by God. And I don't know if you noticed that I don't say Allah. I say God. I don't speak Arabic, and I think it's in very poor taste when you're speaking to Muslims or non-Arabic speakers to use what I call Muslim English, which is English saltpeper with all these Arabic words that the person has no idea. What are we talking about? And in the end, Allah is the Arabic word for God. So, the angels are beings created by God. We don't know how many they are. They have no free will. They are created for specific jobs, and that's all they do. In the, let's say, the chart of creation, we are the top achievement. We are the top of everything that has been created. We are above even the angels, because we are given free will. As I said, the angels have to do, their specific job, and there is an angel that you keep hearing about or reading about if you read the Quran, and that's Gabriel. He is considered the one that took the revelations from God to the messengers. I would say that he's kind of the UPS also of the time. They are not visible. We can't see them unless their job requires that they be seen. We don't have what it's called, it's not guardian angels, it's, oh my gosh, what's the word? Guardian angels. We don't have guardian angels, but we believe that every human being, regardless of the religion, walks around with two angels following them. Those two angels write everything we do. The one on the right writes all the good things we do. You can imagine what the one on the left does. And that book that they are writing will be open on the day of judgment, and based on what is there, you will be judged. We believe also that, and this is the one I like perhaps because I'm a romantic at heart, on Fridays for our weekly worshiping service, we believe that regardless if it's in a mosque or in a house or an office space, there are angels at the entrance that will write the names of all the people that are walking in. And a reason why you should get to the service way ahead of time so they can write your name, because once the call to prayer is done to start the service, they will roll the scroll, put it under the arm, and walk in and sit down and listen to the service. The day of judgment, what appearance it has. Imagine a throne. God will be seated in the throne, and around God will be all the prophets that he sent with their followers behind. There will be Muhammad with the Muslims. There will be Abraham or Moses with the Jews. There will be Isa, the son of Mary, with the Christians, and so on and so forth. This is the day where everything we have done, even those itsy-bitsy little things that we needed but nobody else found out, it will come at that time. I don't know, I think it will be even worse than when people are running for office, you know, that all the dirty laundry starts showing up. That day. We Muslims should not believe that we are the only ones that are going to go to paradise, because it's not up to us. God is the one that can see everything we do and everything that is in our heart, and that's what allows God to be the one doing the judgment. There's nothing you can do, nothing you can do that will take you directly to paradise. You will go out of the grace and the mercy of God. Of course, that doesn't mean, well, if I can't go, anything I do will not take me there. What the heck? Well, I've been trying. No, that's not the idea. You still should do good deeds. And this is what I have to confess. I'm struggling with this for what almost 25 years. I love shoes. They're the other shoes. But everything we have will talk, will give testimony about us. And I don't think it would be that pretty if you see over 50 pairs of shoes talking about me. So, I try to do good things. God is the only one that can judge. That we call it the day of judgment, but we really don't know how long will it take. You know, if it will be 24 hours, as we understand a day, if it will be 500 years, we really don't know. And one of the hadith, the stories of the prophet, that it's very telling for me. One day he was praying and he was so concentrated that he was sweating, which is not very hard in Saudi Arabia, but I digress. He was sweating and he was crying. And some of his followers, were there. They wanted to talk to him, and they waited until he finished. And when he finished, they asked him, "What are you praying for with such intensity?" And his response, I paraphrase, was, "I am praying because I hope that at least half of the people that get to heaven will be Muslims," which tells me that if he's asking for at least 50%, there will be other percentage. I don't know. He was asking for it. It may be more than 50% of people of all faiths that will be there. Predestination. And I'm going to ask that, please, don't put me in a hard situation. When I talk about predestination, there's usually somebody that jumps up and says, well, if everything is predestined, if everything is written, what's the point of doing anything? If I knew the answer, we will be praying to Farhanahz, not to God. I don't know the answer. Some scholars, Islamic scholars, believe that birth and death are the only things that are predestined. Everything else is fluid. Some others believe that everything, including how many breaths you take a day, it's written. I just keep trying to behave just in case, so I don't get any surprises on the day of judgment. But understand it this way: your past, present, and future is God's present. God is not subject to time. God can see everything, including things we haven't even thought about yet. This is very true for me when 20 years ago I came to the US for business, and after a week and a half I went back to Panama engaged, and a month after that I came back here married. So there's something to this. I keep telling my husband that, Magdu, we were meant to be, and he said, yeah, we were meant to be. Sharia, the word that makes people cringe. Let's do this the other way around. Anybody wants to tell me what Sharia is? And by the way, there's nothing that anybody can say that will make me feel offended. Don't hold back because of that, there is a group of people that have spent years trying to offend me, my brothers, but they haven't been able to achieve it. So.
Sharia is law, right? Does it mean law?
I'm asking you to tell me what it is. I'm
I
going to tell you.
believe that it's law.
I'm sorry?
I believe that it's the laws.
A set of rules governing daily life of Muslims.
Anybody else wants to add something to that? No? Okay. Yeah, Sharia is part of Islamic law. And in this case, but you're right, Sharia is a group of laws, and based on that, every country has their own Sharia. For example, the US has a legal system, and what is the top book in that legal system? The Constitution. The Sharia of the US comes from the Constitution. Before I continue, for people who think that Muslims are trying to impose Sharia, that we are taking over the government of the US, with all due respect, you don't know how our country works. You have no idea how our government works. That's impossible. It's not going to happen. Sharia and Islamic law comes from the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet. There are two types of Sharia. The one that is in use in Muslim countries, and mind you, I'll never talk about Islamic countries because there's no such thing. What's the difference? And this is my personal opinion. Muslim countries are the countries where the majority of the population say, I'm a Muslim. How many countries in the world have that situation? 51. What is an Islamic country? An Islamic country is the one that uses Islamic law, Quran, and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad to govern. How many countries in the world? No. What we have is a hodgepodge cafeteria-style government system in Muslim countries. For example, stoning, that is not Islamic. The only instance of stoning ever mentioned in the Quran is when the father of Prophet Abraham, when Abraham was a child, told him to take some idols, he was the idol maker of the town, to the center of the town to sell them. And if you don't sell them, when you come back, I'm going to stone you. That's the only instance. Countries where you see the stoning happening, they are using the Old Testament. That's not part of Islam.
Let me interrupt for just a second. I know we've got some parents who may need to go and get their children, and then, so please do that. And then, of course, we want to...
As I said, there's two types of Sharia. The one that applies to Muslims in Muslim countries, and the one that applies to Muslims living in non-Muslim countries. For example, the US. The main ruling of Sharia for Muslims who live in non-Muslim countries is that we are just mandated to follow the 5 pillars of the faith and the 6 articles of faith, which are the basics. After that, we must obey the law of the land. So for the people that says, we should not allow Sharia in the US, okay, then I won't follow the speed limit, I won't pay taxes on April 15, I will not do this, I will not do that. That the law in the US demands that we do. We Muslims do apply certain things of Sharia also that are not the 5 pillars, not the basics, but do not go against the law of the land. For example, the marriage, how it is performed, what is being said, and that has nothing that could be of negativity towards other people. We are also told that if the law of the land goes against the basics of the faith, then we must use the avenues that the law of the land offer to change that. What I mean by that, for example, the mandatory 5 prayers, excuse me, if suddenly Congress say, well, Muslims are not going to pray 5 times, they're going to pray 7, probably we won't fight over that. But if they say instead of 5, you're going to pray 3 or 2 or not pray at all, then we should use what the law of the land allows to change that. And if we can't, we're not supposed to go crazy, you know, turning cars and burning buildings and killing people. We should pack and move somewhere else. That's what the law of Sharia tells for Muslims in non-Muslim countries. How we deal as family also is ruled by Sharia, as I say, as long as it doesn't go against the law of the land. But if it were to be an Islamic country, then it will rule all these things you see there. Q&A time. Yes.
As I understand it, the difference between the Shia and Sunni is a disagreement over the succession of the Prophet Muhammad's death.
Yeah.
If I'm correct about that, could you elaborate on that? And why is there such animosity between the 2 groups existing to this day?
Yes. Keep in mind, for so many centuries, the behavior of Arabs have not changed that much. What I mean by that, you know, let me go the other way around. Something that the Prophet told us is that when Muslims are together, not necessarily at a mosque, but anywhere, and it's time for prayer, we should choose somebody, you know, the most knowledgeable in Quran with the best recitation to lead the prayers, to become the imam. Of course, there's other caveats to that if we can't find anybody that fulfills that role. When the Prophet Muhammad died, he didn't name a successor. And you know how important it is for certain cultures that they should have somebody from the family of the strong man or the strong person to succeed that person. What happened? A group or the majority decided that they were going to apply, you know, the rules for getting somebody to lead the prayer. They were going to apply to get somebody to succeed the Prophet. Since they follow what is called the Sunnah, the tradition of the Prophet, those are the Sunnis. But you know, when you have human beings, it's very rare, if at all, that you will find everybody agreeing on something. There was a disconnect because a little group or smaller group fight for the idea that the successor of the Prophet must come from the family of the Prophet, and they parted with the main group, and those are the Shiites. You may find some differences on the overall theology, but not at the basis of it. Keep in mind, I'm a convert. I was not born and raised a Muslim, and I love history and politics and seeing how things go around the world. And the situation between Sunnis and Shiites in certain parts of the world remind me of the situation in Northern Ireland, where there was a political problem that, it was along the religious lines, but didn't really have anything to do with religion. The majority of Muslims in my community, in the Adam Center, although it's a Muslim society, belong to the Sunni branch of Islam. And that's not a surprise, because actually 93% of Muslims in the world are Sunni. But we do have quite a few families that are Shiite. We have also quite a few members that are Sufi. And then you will find a group very small, but we are there nonetheless, that like me, we refuse to associate ourselves with any specific branch. My personal reasoning for that is that if anybody were able to ask the Prophet Muhammad, what are you, Sunni, Shia, Sufi? He will look at you like you're growing another head. He won't know what you're talking about, because all this came after the left. So I feel that by promoting a political division, we're not benefiting anybody.
Thank you, Farhanahz, for being here. Questions that you want to ask?
Yeah, but before you go, I have some goodies for the library. This is a Quran. I call it the Cadillac. It's a Quran for study. What that means, it has the original text in Arabic, it has a translation to English, and by the way, it's made by one, the translation was made by one of the 4 most popular translators, and it has also study, explanations and things to study.
Thank you.
For your haven't finished. I'm like these are DVDs. This is called Prince Among the Slaves. This is the story of an African prince that he was caught in Africa, obviously, and brought to the Americas as a slave, and how after so many years he was able to go back to Africa. These 2 are the same. This is called Muhammad, Legacy of a Prophet. I wonder what it is about. Then Islamic Art, Mirror of the Invisible World.